Hope everyone had a great summer, and we will call our meeting, our first fall 2023 meeting to order. I will start with the land acknowledgement, or does someone else want to do the land acknowledgement? Okay, I will start and then we will do the labor acknowledgement, the land acknowledgement. We acknowledge and honor the Aboriginal people on whose ancestral homelands we work, the Irrakusum Band of the Shasta Nation, as well as the diverse and vibrant Native communities who make their home here today. We denounce the egregious acts of the colonizers and government and recognize the horrific impacts that still exist today. We honor the first stewards of the Rogue Valley and the lands we love and depend on, tribes with ancestral lands surrounding the geography of the Ashland watershed, include the original past, present, and future inhabitants of the Shasta, Takama, and Athabascan people. We recognize and acknowledge the Shasta village of Kawaka, where the Crow Lights, that is now the Ashland City Plaza. And is it Emily? There's Emily. Hello, Emily.
Hi, folks. I'm sorry I'm a little late. Can somebody else please read the labor acknowledgement other than me, as I am just sort of getting settled here? And that can be anybody, if somebody would take it to read it. And it's right there in the agenda under the topic of the labor acknowledgement. So maybe Barbara, you could read that for us, please.
I do not have the agenda open. I don't want to slow things down. I think Precious.
I can do it. I can read it.
Thanks.
Thank you, Tara.
Sure. We also pause to recognize and acknowledge the labor upon which our country, state, and institutions are built. We remember that our country is built on the labor of enslaved people who were kidnapped and brought to the U.S. from the African continent, and recognize the continued contribution of their survivors. We also acknowledge all immigrant labor, including voluntary, involuntary, trafficked, forced, and undocumented peoples who contributed to the building of the country and continue to serve within our labor force. We acknowledge all unpaid caregiving labor. To the people who contributed this immeasurable work and their descendants, we acknowledge their indelible mark on the space in which we gather today. It is our collective responsibility to critically examine these histories, to repair harm, and to honor, protect, and sustain their contribution to our society.
Thank you, Tara.
Sure.
Precious, why don't you keep going leading the meeting, okay?
Okay, great.
Thank you.
So we will move on to the approval of minutes from June 1st, 2023. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Precious.
Yes.
Sorry. First, can you take attendance?
Oh, sure.
And then determine if we have a quorum?
Okay.
Right.
We do not. So, so attendance?
Okay. Ready, Anne? Why don't we go around the room and just sort of say who we are, who are actual appointed members, okay? I'm Emily Simon.
I'm Precious Yamaguchi.
I'm Barbara Garrity.
Okay. So because we are the only three who are actually appointed, Tara, as you know, there was a glitch and you didn't get appointed. And Juan Miguel could not be here tonight. We do not have a quorum. So as a result, we did not want to just cancel the meeting, particularly with Tara joining us new, Hillary presenting, Barbara having news for us, and most importantly, in my mind, So Pride being on October 7th, and our next meeting is October the 5th. So with that in mind, we've decided to go ahead and have a meeting for informational purposes only, but we cannot and will not be taking a vote or doing any official business. As close as we are allowed to come, okay, according to the city code and also according to the Oregon state statutes, is to say things to Anne like, we continue to be interested in that, Anne. Would you please put it on a future agenda? But that is all we can do And we can't take a vote as to if she should put it on a future agenda. Everybody understand what I'm saying?
Got it.
Okay, great. With that in mind, we are going to skip over the minutes, okay, and have you go to the next item. Okay, Precious?
Sure, thank you.
Thank you.
for that. Public input submitted via the Surge contact form. Is there any public input, Anne?
No,
Thank you.
And
Okay.
wait, no, excuse me. You had texted me that you had sent an email to both Precious and I. There were two individuals who had wanted to attend this meeting.
They are
and
not here.
Okay, thank you very much, Anne. I appreciate that. Okay, next, Precious, keep going.
Did she say they are not here or they are here?
They are not.
I see two people. There's Ellison P. of Ashland, Oregon, and Wendy Weissong Layton in my in the Zoom participants attendee section. So I do see two people.
Okay, I do not see them. So Precious, can you move them over? From
Thank you,
attendee
Precious.
to panelist? I don't see them.
I'm trying to move them over, but it is not allowing me. Hold on. Maybe the best thing for me to do is send an invite link to them.
Well, they already have the link if you already see them.
Yeah,
Um,
the invite link to the,
That you just sent us this afternoon that were for the panelists. Try sending it, Precious.
okay, I will do
All
that.
right. And in the meantime, Anne, if you have their cell phone numbers, you can just tell them that please, we're trying to reach them. Okay,
I don't have their cell phone numbers, so.
all right. Maybe by their email. Well, their email would be what Precious has.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and send them a link right now if you want to take over, Emily.
Sure, just give me a minute. So I believe off the top of my head, and like I said, I got here a little bit late, that the next thing on the agenda is welcoming Tara and asking Tara to talk for a few minutes about who she is and what she does and how she came to this work. And tell us about yourself, Tara.
Thanks for the invite. Thanks for having me here, though I'm an unofficial member still. Hi, everyone. I'm Tara Houston. I use she, her pronouns. I work at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, and my title there is Cultural and Community Liaison. So in this season of constriction at the festival, I've supervised our volunteer program and also done community outreach work. I'll be sort of moving into a new position starting around the beginning of the next calendar year, moving into our education department to do engagement and outreach work through education at OSF. So I'm excited about that swap. I was originally hired here into our Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, and Access department to do outreach work specifically into historically minoritized communities in the Valley. I come to this work, it's, like most stories, kind of a long story, but I'm from a mixed race family. My mom's family is from Mexico. My dad's family are sort of Northern European mutts. As you can tell, if you see my face on the screen, I am a white passing person. My name is Tara Houston, so my name also passes as European. But that's not true for my entire family. So my siblings have darker skin than I do. When my mom got remarried and when I was 11, she remarried an immigrant from Mexico. So my younger half siblings also have Spanish sounding names. So we were stopped a lot in public spaces because we don't all match sort of the ideal of what a family looks like. But we behave in all of the lovely and traumatic ways that families do with one another. So we're definitely a family, y'all. But I realized early on that skin color makes such a huge difference in your experience in this country. I had a fairly easy pass through school in many ways, as a person who passes weight and is a woman, it's easier for me to be in public spaces and school spaces than was true for my siblings. So my brothers, two of them didn't graduate from high school. And I have a master's degree. So I can see very clearly just within my family unit how different outcomes can be based on how the world views us. And that hard work matters, but it is not the only predictor of success. And that was part of the reason I chose to work in education. So after I got my master's degree, I worked in the theater field for about 5 years and then started working in higher education. And I worked in university settings for about 10 years as a scenic design professor, which is sort of my artistic practice, is that I'm a scenic designer. And by the time I finished working in higher ed, I was also the Associate Dean for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at Louisiana State University. And I worked there with the School of Theater and the School of Music as the DEI kind of guiding person for our school. So I have gone through a lot of personal education, but also taken a lot of trainings and facilitator trainings, as well as racial equity trainings, and one very intensive racial equity facilitation training that, talked a lot about how we have conversations about race in this country, which are complicated and fraught, as all of us know. So my real work about this is in many ways healing the harms of my family. And I see that both, as my specific family, but also as a sort of more metaphorical family, in that, we're all on this planet together. And whether it thrives or not, we will all live with the consequences of that. So I think finding ways for us to be more understanding and accepting of one another, more tolerant of one another, more loving of one another is something that's been important to me my whole life. So that's sort of what brings me here. I also moved to Ashland in part because my partner works at Oregon Shakespeare Festival. He's the safety manager there. So he oversees everything from our COVID infections to our workers' compensation claims, and also supervises and leads our smoke team on campus. So we've done a lot of reckoning in our house recently about wildfires. So that's a little kind of peek in. I'm a disgustingly loving parent of a dog, but I don't have kids. If you ever want to see pictures of my dog, I always have them available. I read a ton, lots of mystery novels, so I'm always looking for recommendations. And I knit, and nothing complicated, because that's the place where I just need things to be smooth and easy. So I do quick knitting projects, mostly hats. So if your head's ever cold, let me know. And I've got plenty of hats to share. So that's a little, professional and personal. If anyone has questions, I'm happy to answer. You're muted, Emily.
There we go. Tara, thank you very much. And rather than us asking you questions, I think it would probably be worthwhile for us to go around the Zoom room, those of us who are members, or Hillary and Wendy, if you want to do something about, and Allison, what brings you here tonight, I'm fine on that. But I think that we should give you a sentence or two as to who we are and what brings us to this work, so you can know who you're working with. Okay, so you know me already, but I'm Emily Simon, and I've been doing this work since the Earth's crust hardened. It doesn't mean that I've done it correctly or that I've done it right, but I have been aware of it and have been trying for a very, very long time. And as Tara knows, and as I think probably everybody else in this room knows, I'm an out loud, proud member of the queer community, and was in New York City in 1971. For those of you who remember the year 1971, that's Stonewall. My spouse and I have been married and unmarried 3 times. And the day after the district court judge made the decision to allow marriage in the queer community, to allow same sex, as it was called at that time, marriage, We got married within 24 hours, just out of the fear that it would go away again. I'm very involved in my Jewish community. And in fact, this weekend, what I did, which is where I've been, my spouse has been in Africa looking at birds. And I have been in Portland, where I officiated at a Jewish lesbian wedding with more than 200 people there of every color, of every gender, of every, if you think of sexuality on a choice in any level, and with every imaginable fashion. So I believe that this work, when you have your victories, you have to celebrate them and you have to have fun. That's what I have to say. Okay, Anne, because you're the next person on my, as I go around.
Hi, Tara, welcome. Thanks for stepping up to the plate. My name is Ann Seltzer. I am the staff liaison to this committee. I worked for the city for more than 20 years. I retired in 2018. And then in 2021, I was asked to come back part-time to staff this committee. And prior to my 20 years at the city of Ashland, I worked at OSF for another 15 years as the marketing manager. So connections there as well. So welcome.
Barbara?
I'm Barbara Garrity. I moved to Ashland exactly 6 months ago. My career was as a professional speaker working with tech sector, Fortune 500 tech sector companies. And I retired, but then I unretired and coincidentally ended up stepping into the corporate DEI space. And I benefited from inclusion and diversity in my career and in my life for decades and decades before those were even words. But there was so much I didn't know. And as a matter of fact, I didn't know anything. And so I embarked on a very challenging and painful learning curve, getting educated, getting woke, and while working with really the highest echelon doing this work in corporate America. It's really amazing what's going on. And right smack in the middle of that, George Floyd happened, and $166 billion was pledged to racial equity efforts. And these were the people I was interacting with daily. Anyway, it just turned out to be a marvelous 4-year journey, but it came to a logical end. I'm from Orange County. I was living in Orange County. I needed to get out of Orange County. And so I moved to Ashland, and not knowing it was 91% white. So I did all my research, but somehow I overlooked a very key data point. And when I realized this in horror, I thought, well, I must be here for a reason, and found my way to Surge. And so I'm in another learning curve because now I'm figuring out specific to Ashland. But anyway, I'm thrilled to be connected with all of you, with the type of people I get to interact with and learn from. I'm totally passionate about this work. On a private note, I have 2 grown daughters. I have 2 granddaughters still in Orange County. I see them every 3 months and FaceTime with them every week. And I have an absolutely beloved cat named Ernest Hemingway.
Well,
Oh, so I read. Tara, I read.
Okay, Precious.
Hi, welcome, Tara. Welcome, everybody. I'm Precious Yamaguchi. I'm a professor at Southern Oregon University in the communication program, a full professor now. And I was also the business owner of Catalyst Ashland, which we unfortunately closed this summer, but that was an art and tech space that we intentionally made to be very inclusive and really highlight our diverse artists and all of the different people that we wanted to welcome to start their businesses or work on their projects. I'm Japanese American, 5th generation, which means my ancestors came here in the 1880s. All 4 of my grandparents were in the Japanese American internment camps. My grandparents, they owned one of the oldest LGBTQ Latinx dive bars in Los Angeles, which is very interesting because my grandparents, they didn't even have like graduate high school because they were in the internment camps. So they didn't really come from that academic side, but they lived in a predominantly Black neighborhood. They owned a Latinx LGBTQ dive bar, and so their lives were very diverse in a genuine type of way. Maybe not having all of the lexicon that's available now, but that was our lives. So and I am so excited to be co-chair with Emily. I think we're going on to our third year now. So welcome and happy to be here. Have you here.
Gina,
There we go. Wow. Well, I'm just loving the diversity so far. I just think I'll just sit here and listen. So my name is Gina Duquesne, and I am the council liaison to the Social Equity and Racial Justice Committee. Tara, you know me from working with Ashland Together. I'm also a co-founder of Ashland Together. What brings me here? Many things bring me here, and I am the third generation removed from slavery. And my family has worked for equity. My mom worked for equity as long as I can remember. My grandmother, my great-grandmother. And when I look back at my generation, my history, and where we all come from, I can't help but want to continue the work of my ancestors. So for me, it's very, very important that we go forward, we educate others. And for me, American history is very important. I believe in sharing cultures and backgrounds in history. So I am grateful to be this liaison. I'm grateful to be able to work with you all, and I look forward to continuing. Thank you.
okay. I am going to do the other three people who are here with one sentence, please, as to sort of what brings you here and why you're sitting here, because I know that Hillary, you're going to be speaking anyway, but if you could just say that one sentence, I'd appreciate it, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Emily. So happy to be here. I'm Hillary Larson. I'm a co-founding member of Ashland Together, and I'm here to talk about the history course we are talking about presenting soon, and also Table for 12.
Thank you. Wendy, I think, did you send our staff person an email, Wendy, about some issues that are concerning to you?
I had sent to Anne that I would like to join because I'm here from Ashland United Church of Christ. I am employed there as an office assistant, but I also am beginning as co-chair of our justice team. And so basically I'm here because we fly the Black Lives Matter flag on Sunday and we don't do anything else. And so I'm here to start to fix that. And so I'm here to learn, and I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you for being here, and I hope we can spark some ideas or some ways to be involved. So thank you. And Allison, who we know, I'm just going to bump in here for a minute. Allison is also with Ashland Together, as Hillary is. And I think you're just here to observe. Correct, Allison? Have I missed something that I didn't know about?
I can give an update if that matters with what's happening with the Sunrise project.
Well, Barbara Garrity.
Yeah, okay, good. I didn't think I could be here because I'm full of Novocaine, but.
Okay, Barbara as a member, in fact, that's the next item on the agenda,
All
is
right.
for Barbara as a member of Surge to talk to us about the what's happening with the Sunrise Project. Now, Barbara, before you do that, I just want to frame something for the members of the committee, okay?
Mhm.
We gave to the Ashland City Council in our annual report that is attached to your agenda. And the reason I'm going to read this is because I have a deep feeling that not many people looked at the annual report, okay? And in that annual report, this was something that the mayor had asked us to do. was to research what the city of Ashland has done to help and interfere with the civil rights of different groups of people, Black, Indigenous, Chinese, etc. This research will be the starting point for identifying reparations that the city can put in place to address the actions of the past and to celebrate good work that has been done. And the reason for why I wanted to start with that, rather than jumping in to the Sunrise Project, which I think is certainly a worthy goal and a very good project, is to understand that Surge might have a companion piece that interests us in terms of putting work forward rather than being totally subsumed in the Sunrise Project. And with that, Barbara, why don't you give the update from the Surge point of view?
Thank you. And by the way, Emily, I noticed in the labor acknowledgement, the words examine histories to repair harm.
Correct.
So I love it when there's a match. I have been doing some research and I will be doing more this month. I feel like next month I'll have a more comprehensive report. I've done a couple things because Mayor Graham mentioned that she wanted research done of where there was help and interference with civil rights. But the purpose of that was to inform strategies and put together an action plan. And I always kind of like to go to the end, then make my way back. So I did some research on what small towns in America have done along these lines. And I came up with a lot, but probably the best I came up with is the Long Beach Racial Equity and Reconciliation Initiative. And I know Long Beach California is way bigger than Ashland is. But there's a really good roadmap in there. They ended up with 4 goals, 21 strategies, and 107 action plans. So I'm kind of gleaning from that. One of the things that captivated my interest the most that they did is that they went on a listening tour and they actually talked to people that live in Long Beach today to get those stories of where the help and the interference was, and then to bring that right back into the action plans. And that is the way I like to operate. So that's one thing I did. I've met with Allison and talked to Taylor Stewart, who's with the Oregon Remembrance Project, and met Hillary briefly at another event, so that we can work in parallel or collaborate, especially share research and info discovered. So they're working specifically from sundown to sunrise perspective, a path to reconciliation, following the lead of Grants Pass. So they also have a bit of a roadmap. And so I'm staying informed about what they're doing, and then we'll see how it all comes together in the end. But just so that we're not duplicating efforts any more than necessary, since we're all focused on the same objectives. And next week, I am going to pay a visit, going on a field trip to the Southern Oregon Historical Society, which sounds like a lot of fun. I'm sure I'll be completely overwhelmed, but right now I'm excited about it. And reaching out to Jeff Lalande and everybody on the call. I feel like, Tara, I feel like I definitely need to talk to you because of a couple things that you said that, you know, things you might have discovered in your role, the beginnings of your role with OSF. And but for everybody on the call, anybody you know that I should talk to, interact with, just don't be afraid of burying me. I actually love it. I love going doing a deep dive into a research project. And next month, I feel like I'll have some very specifics to report, not only data discovered, but that will point toward the kind of action plan that would be appropriate for our little town of Ashland with 22,000 people.
Great. Barbara, you touched on something and I want to respond to it. I view the labor acknowledgement as right on the money from what Mayor Graham asked us to do, okay? Unfortunately, I did not get the impression that the city council agreed with me on that. And there are no other municipalities that have been doing a labor acknowledgement standing on its own. And I felt that the labor acknowledgement and the land acknowledgement, if they get mushed together, that it waters down both the labor agreement and the land acknowledgement. So the reason for why I'm saying that is because I think that it will be important to have I am more than willing to continue to convince the Ashland City Council that they should be doing this and the reason for why. But I anticipate that we will need everybody on the committee to do that. Precious, I need for you to take over running the meeting because I'm not feeling great. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
no problem. I hope you feel better, Emily. I will.
Thank you. Thank you. I gotta.
Let me just hop onto the agenda. Okay. Thank you, Barbara, for that update. Any other questions for Barbara or comments, suggestions? I think, Barbara, I will introduce you to some of the people in the anthropology department at SOU, especially Chelsea Rose, because she does a lot of work on Chinese in the history in Southern Oregon. Ellison.
Thank you.
Barbara, it's so thrilling to know what you're jumping into because I just made a list of these same Southern Oregon Historical Society people that I want to approach for some of the same reason, to bring this together now that we have a venue for some ongoing educational programs. So given your love of history and delving into research, I will contact you so we can work together as a team on that, because this.
Yeah, we can either tag team on the meetings or we can divide and conquer.
Okay, yeah, we'll figure out how to work that
Sounds
out.
good. Thank you, Allison.
Thank you, Allison. Thank you, Barbara. We'll move on to discuss a bit about the Pride Parade coming up on October 7th. And last year, Serge, our committee, participated in this parade as one of our first appearances.
Precious?
Yes.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but before you get to Pride, Hillary is next on the agenda.
Oh, okay. Maybe I don't have the updated. Oh, I see the updated agenda. Okay, yes, thank you. Sorry about that, Hillary.
No, that's quite all right. I was actually going to say thank you, Anne, because I am hosting a racial equity group in just a few minutes. So if I have to dart off, you'll know why. Gina had asked me if I would show up here with all of your lovely faces and talk about one of the things we're doing with Ashland Together. Allison and Elizabeth Fairchild and I, a few months ago, we did a course that was actually hosted by the Unitarian Universalist Church in Portland. And that was a course on the racist history of Oregon. It was a professor from Portland State, Kristen Teigen, who we've come to find out is quite well known for this particular course, both at the university and she's done it in other venues. And it was fascinating. It was compelling. There are so many adjectives to describe it. I'm a native Oregonian. I was born in Portland and I was raised in Southern Oregon, and was very aware of the whiteness of where I was growing up. And I have since worked for quite a few years in racial equity. But this history class, I guarantee you, I didn't learn probably 90% of what was presented in this class. And this possibility of really understanding the underpinnings of where you are with curiosity and openness and a desire for inclusion and belonging for everybody, it feels like the foundation of that. So I've been communicating back and forth with Kristen. She's absolutely gung-ho to do the course with us. It will be an online course. We are hoping to start it on October 19th, where it will go from tentatively it's 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. every Thursday. So that allows us to end off the week before Thanksgiving. So we don't kind of run right smack dab into the holidays. The cost tentatively will be $90. which is a ridiculous amount for that amount of information. And having said that, $90 is maybe a lot for a lot of people. So we'll be arranging for scholarships for people that would like to join. We're also looking for partnerships. I think one of those partnerships might be a Peace House.
Excuse me, Hillary, is that cost per person? $90?
Yeah, per person. Yeah. And so one of our really deep desires, honestly, is if City Council would join us in being part of this online education process. We also would like to present it in a way where people don't feel like they're getting this, or where it's an invitation to be curious, in the name of creating a healthy ecosystem here in Ashland. So that's kind of my short and sweet version of my description of the history course, which I'm super excited about. I think Allison and Elizabeth are in particular because we've already experienced it.
So Hillary, will you be sending forms that people can sign up? Will there be a calendar? You said every Thursday, but how does one sign up and participate, and what are the links and all of that?
Yeah, thank you for asking, Anne. So I am playing phone tag with Kristen just because she just dropped one of her children off to college, and then she's starting teaching again at PSU. So some of the logistical things that we're working out with her is what is easier for her payment wise, the $90. By the way, the $90 fee that she receives, she actually donates half of that to a BIPOC organization, which is great. And I'm sure she would be open to considering one of the organizations in Ashland. And we're also checking to see with her who is going to administrate that course. So what are the links, or do those links come via Ashland Together? Does the payment come through Ashland Together? And I will make sure and write up a summary with all those logistical kind of pieces of information as soon as I get them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We will move on. Thank you so much, Hillary, for...
You know what, Precious? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was going to say, did you want me to mention Table for 12 right now? Or would you rather that...
Yeah, why don't a quick mention of Table for 12 is good.
Thank you. It'll take me like 2 minutes. Several months ago, maybe 3 months ago, Heidi Binder, who's at Oregon Community Foundation, she reached out to me because we're good friends, and she has also been kind of part of the foundation of Ashland Together. And the Oregon Community Foundation is offering $5,000 grants, and the grants are called Table for 12, and they have 4 left. Peace House is actually taking one of them. We're meeting with them tomorrow. There's 3 remaining. As of 2 weeks ago, there are 3 remaining, and they seem pretty open as to, there's not a waiting list to get the grants. It's not complicated to get the grants. You literally, if you're breathing and you can write, you can apply for the grant as long as you're 501c3. And what's lovely about them is it brings together, the $5,000 brings together whatever your topic is, whatever you're finding to be a place where people, it would be helpful for this community for people to come together who normally don't come together and be in conversation. The $5,000 covers those 4 meals. It's 3 or 4 meals. It's whoever is applying can choose that. So that pays for the meal. It pays for a facilitator of your choice. One of the things that was done in Portland, for example, is in Southeast Portland, they brought together 6 people that were housed and 6 people that were unhoused, and they came together 4 times for a meal. And in that time, there's no agenda as in, at the end of this, we're going to work on whatever. It's really about how do we connect as humans? How do we get to know each other? How do we break down our silos? And who knows what happens after that? But there are certainly topics in Ashland that would be great. I did send a note out to SOU to see if they might be interested in pairing students with business owners, because NDL has talked about that. It's been a big issue of students of color not feeling welcome often. And I haven't heard back from them. So I just wanted to put the word out. There's 3 left. Please reach out to me if you're interested in one of them. I can give you more information and see if there's a way Ashland could use up those remaining 3. That you have to apply before November 1st, or otherwise they're just going to go away and not get used.
So Hillary, I'm so sorry. I just have to, for the minutes, I have to get specifics.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so the Community Foundation, Oregon Community Foundation, is offering $5,000 grants for the purpose of bringing people together. And the $5,000 can be used in one fell swoop or over a period of X number of meetings or something. Have I got that right?
Yeah, they would prefer that when you receive the grant, that the table for 12 has happened within a 6-month period of time.
Will happen within a 6
Yeah,
months.
it's not etched in stone, but that's what they would prefer. So what they are recommending is that when somebody receives a grant, they can start that hopefully before the end of the year, and that the dinners themselves, or whatever the meals are, happen with like no more than 4 weeks between the gatherings, so people can really feel like they're consistently connected. That money can be spent any way you want, but people have spent it on food, and they've spent it on like an event space if need be, and then a certain percentage, whatever you decide, goes to a facilitator.
Okay, so do you want to just email me the link, and then I can get that information out?
Yeah, I'll send you the description that OCF sent me. Absolutely.
Well, is there a link to apply?
No, there isn't, as far as I know. I think it's kind of one of those grants that's kind of in the background, but I can write them and ask them.
Well, it doesn't matter. I just am trying to get the right information to include in the minutes. So if there's not a grant application, then there's not. So,
And I'll send you a summary that's really concise.
That's fine.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for all of the updates and information, and for visiting with us this evening.
Thank you so much. It's good to see you, Precious.
Okay, have a good evening. Thank you. Okay, we will move on to the Pride Parade, which is on October 7th. I think, first of all, we're interested in who might be attending from the Surge Committee. As I mentioned previously, it's the first time last year that our committee came out together to be visible within our community. Since we had been on Zoom for so long, we finally were able to gather and also be a cohesive group and show our pride for that day. I know that Emily is probably attending. I'm unsure about Juan Miguel. I'll have to follow up with him. But for our other committee members, will you be planning to attend? Yeah, awesome. And then I know that maybe some people might also be walking with other groups as well. So I understand that. But I think that in moving forward with the planning for that, because it's coming up so quickly in October, it's definitely such a joyful way for us to come together, represent our committee. Last year, what we did was our families all came, and also we are inviting previous or Surge members that maybe had to resign because of work issues or different things, but we are inviting them to walk with us. And last year, what we did was we wore all different colors of the rainbow with our families. It's a little bit more challenging this time because there's less of us. But if you have any ideas, I'd love to hear them, whether it's now or later. Tara, do you think that you might be participating?
I will be, but I think I might be marching with OSF.
That makes sense.
So to be continued, if I
Sure.
can get someone to kind of lead the charge with OSF, I might walk with Surge. So we'll see how that kind of shakes out.
Thank you. Yeah,
You
and
run back and forth to each group.
You can just
So-
walk next to one another.
So for the Surge members, I want to call your attention to, we have a banner. It's 6 feet long and I think 2 feet tall. There will be poles within pockets at the top of the banner and below the banner. So you will be carrying this banner. I will get it to you somehow. I haven't figured out those logistics yet. So that's number one with the banner. I'm drafting an email for Precious and Emily to cast out to the masses, inviting others to join Surge in the march. So if we'll share it with all of you, if you want to share it with others, that would be awesome. Precious mentioned the colors. We just, as she said, wore t-shirts. The one kind of, I guess, thing that I'm trying to get to is Emily had on the agenda little flags. So I think her idea was, should we order little pride flags for people to carry? You know, you can get them on Amazon, 100 for $10 or something. I'm not quite sure how you would be carrying the banner and holding flags, but maybe it's, I don't know, maybe you want flags to pass out or something. I just need some direction as to, will someone order these flags?
Gina, did
Just
you
trying
want
to get this narrowed down.
Thank you. Yeah, Gina, do you want to move it, answer before I jump in?
Thank you, Precious. When it comes to the banner, I could grab the banner. I am going to be there bright and early Saturday morning, so that Surge can have it. Also, something was mentioned earlier about lining up and being next to each other. I can arrange that too. And then when it comes to the flags, the banner is only going to take 2 people, one on each end, to hold it.
It might
And
take 3. It might take 3.
It might take 3 6-foot long.
One in the middle.
Yeah. But I was thinking that I remember last year and we had some little ones and they were your little ones, Precious. I could just see them with their little flags. And I think that just brings in the continuity of the Surge committee and why we're all there. And I do believe, I know that As You Like It has big flags, but I don't know if they have the little ones. So it might be more cost effective and easier just to order them online.
That sounds great. Yeah, maybe like if there's a pack of 25 or something, or maybe not a 100 pack, but a smaller pack.
Okay, let me ask you this. Are you asking me to order these flags? That's what I'm trying to get to. Do you want me to order flags for people to carry? Flags on a stick?
I'll say yes, please.
Okay.
I don't know if I have to ask Emily too, or what. Emily.
Well, Emily's not here. And so I just need to kind of, nail this down.
Yes, thank you, Anne. Thank you, Gina. Any additional ideas or suggestions you have, please email me or contact me as soon as possible, and we will add that. Oh,
Can I
yes.
just chime
Barbara.
in? So a 50 pack of rainbow pride flags, small flag handheld, and they're really cute, are $14.99 on Amazon.
Thank you.
But buy local.
Thank you for looking that up, Barbara. And again, we invite our families, our friends. Gina, do they allow dogs? Yep, dogs. I don't think my senior dog could make that walk, but that always catches people's attention and brightens our day as well. So yes, please feel free to contact me about that if you have any suggestions, questions, or anything else. I will move on to Indigenous Peoples Day. Oh,
I'm,
and
I'm sorry, just one more thing. So what hasn't been mentioned is that the parade, the lineup for the parade begins at 9 and the parade itself begins at 11. And the lineup is on Union Street. So
thank you. Thank you for that information. Yes. Okay, we will move on to Indigenous Peoples Day, which is on October 9th. So it's a busy week with October 7th, Pride Parade, then October 9th, Indigenous Peoples event. And this year we are trying to support and participate with Southern Oregon University, their Indigenous Peoples Day event, which is always a really big, great, wonderful event. If you haven't attended, I've connected with Lupe Sims, who is coordinating this, and it will be from 11, and you don't have to attend the whole thing, but it's from 11 to 4. There's all types of events. They will have the 9 tribes of Oregon recognized and invited for the flag dedication on the SOU campus in the courtyard, and all of this pretty much takes place in the courtyard, but there might be some additional talks or events that take place in the Rogue Valley room at SOU. There's more information to come, but they will have the tribal nation flags. They will have a salmon bake. The salmon bake is always a really wonderful event. They'll have the Oregon representative, Tana Sanchez, sharing some words, and also possibly Terry Cross. The Klamath Tribes Youth Council and the Ashland School District will be presenting and sharing words. There will be a children's activity area at the ASSOU Center for Youth on the SOU campus. The salmon bake will be $8 per plate for adults and children, cash only. Elders and tribal dignitaries, there is no charge. And parking is free all day in the SOU lot number 36 and elder parking on University Way. And I will forward a volunteer form if you would like to volunteer. It's a very, very, there's a lot of information of like what time you volunteer and where and what area. So I will forward that to Anne and she could forward it to you. And also please, if you have any questions, you can email me or contact me and I'll give you any updates, because they're still kind of ironing out some of the details, but it's an amazing event and it's so wonderful to see our local people that represent these different nations come together for this day. And SOU has worked very hard to make this a day that we really celebrate at SOU and in the region. Anne, I think.
I just want to be sure that this is taking place on Monday, October 9th. Is that correct?
Yes, on the actual day, yes.
Okay.
Thank you. So I will keep everyone updated with that forwarding information and the sign up form to Anne.
And then I will just add that the city of Ashland, we have secured flags from the Siletz Indian tribe and Three Flags and the Granwan Confederate tribes, which both represent tribes that are native to Southern Oregon and Northern California. And those will be flying on the 3 different flagpoles in Ashland. So.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll just give a little bit of an update and kind of review some of our annual goals from the city of Ashland as a surge committee. Request from Mayor Graham, who came to visit us during our last meeting, of talking about some of the goals that she hopes to see surge complete and work towards this year. One of them, which we already talked about, the research of the city of Ashland and what it's done, and its work with civil rights of different groups. So that's something we've already talked about, the Sunrise Project as an example. Review the recommendations of the DEI assessment consultant when the final report is completed. Continue the work of Ashland for Everyone project. That's a project that I'm working on with our city manager, Joe Lassard, to really kind of highlight some of our diverse business owners and also managers of different businesses. There are a lot of us diverse people here, but sometimes we don't know about each other or don't know about our businesses. So this is a project that we're working on to create a video and also possibly some print media as well. And we've been working on that over the summer. Our next goal is support activities for surge-related holidays and community events and help the city identify which events to participate in and recommend ways the city could participate, as well as support other committees in their work as it intersects with the goals of our committee. So just kind of revisiting those ideas. And do you want to add anything else to that?
No, I think you've got it. Nope.
Okay. And this, we kind of open up to our Surge members. Are there any projects that you're working on or interested in taking on? This is kind of a time to let us know if there's anything that you would like to announce or to initiate or put on our agenda or radar.
I'll share an OSF project that I'm working on. It's actually on Pride Day. We're inviting youth from across the valley. We've got folks everywhere from Grants Pass down through Klamath Falls that we've invited to come see Rent for Free and participate in the Pride Parade. As part of that, we're partnering OSF employees with youngsters so they have a parade buddy while they walk with us. And then we're also going to have a youth resource fair during the day. So we're inviting different community groups to come and share what they do to support youth in the Valley. So the invitation is open. We're going to have food and drinks and prizes to give away and all kinds of stuff during the day. So that's running in our Hay Patten Rehearsal Center from 2 until 7:30 on October 7th. So come on by and try some cookies and have some drinks on OSF and see our community partners who've turned out. And if you have any suggestions for folks who might want to be a part of that, we've got everything from like school affinity groups to healthcare groups that are just there to talk about how to support youth in the Valley.
How amazing. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else? Gina.
Thank you. I'll be quick. I'm gonna kind of follow up on Pride. It's going to be a very exciting jump off starting on Thursday, actually, is when we'll have our kickoff at Pascal Winery. There's so many activities. I'm going to put the website in our chat. We have 25 vendors at the band shell. Right now, we have 35 contingencies, groups that are going to participate in the parade, and it's growing. And Anne is right. We're going to start to line up at 9 a.m. in Union and Siskiyou, and then parade down to Lithia Park's band shell for food trucks, entertainment, vendor booths. It is very, very exciting. And then on Sunday, we have Drag It Out Sunday because there's going to be a fun brunch at the Brick Room. And it's very exciting. Everybody's so excited. I'm so excited. But something that I did want to touch base on quickly when I was listening to the minutes, I was looking over the minutes, not the minutes, but the presentation that Surge did for council. And I want to just let Emily know that I feel like the labor acknowledgement was excellent and will continue to be read on council. Very, very excited about that. Something that I did question and is the words reparation. I saw that, and in the word reparation, it could be a very loaded word. And so I thought maybe we might want to rethink that word. The direction and the vision that the mayor has is perfect, but I thought maybe we might want to rethink that one word. And then also in the presentation that I thought was excellent, I do remember that last year on Juneteenth is the second year that Juneteenth is a federal holiday. And I want to make note that this Juneteenth 2024 that we make sure that we have American flags on Siskiyou and Main Street, because we didn't the first year, we didn't the second year.
That we have a what flag?
American flags. Juneteenth is a federal holiday.
Oh.
And on
So-
federal holidays, we have the American flags. So we didn't this year, and we didn't the first year. And I was told that because of inclement weather. Well, I do remember on the last 4th of July, it rained.
So just to be clear, the city of Ashland, the 3 flagpoles, they did fly the American flag. There's
No,
always
not-
one. Right,
I'm
so the,
talking about not the city. I
okay,
am talking about every holiday, federal holiday, we have American flags on Main Street in Siskiyou.
so that comes from the Kiwanis.
I know it does, but I want to go on record that this group is a surge committee. When we get ready to celebrate Juneteenth 2024, that it's a reminder that's sent out as an advisory committee and a reminder that's sent out to the city so that we follow up, and someone from the city or the Public Works Department follows up to make sure that we have our Juneteenth flags. This committee is an advisory committee to council. So I think it's important that we don't miss another Juneteenth. Other than that, I think that it's good to see everybody again. And I can't wait to be able to see you in the Pride Parade on October the 7th and stick around. And I'm grateful that OSF is going to do this for our children, because it's fun for all. It's all ages. And so I just want everybody to be so exhausted and that they're going to have to drag it out on Sunday. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Gina. Thank you so much. And
So I just have in the same thing about updates and moving forward as we kind of wrap up. Surge committed to really actively participating and designing and planning for MLK in January. And I just want to call attention that you only have 3 more meetings before January. And really the committee needs to start talking about, Gina, I'm sure, has a host of ideas because she's been the lead on this for so many years, but it was a commitment that Surge made. So just be thinking about how you're going to discuss this on upcoming agendas, what the planning might be. Maybe somebody wants to take the lead and come up with some suggestions or whatever it might be.
thank you, Anne. Yes, Gina.
So what I would like to do is, if I may, if I can email you, Precious and Emily, and let you know what the status is right now with the MLK, so that Surge can jump on board and see how that will fit into the service of Surge. Because right now it's kind of in an influx. Toya Cooper over at SOU was driving the bus. Unfortunately, Toya had to leave her post family first. And so right now, we are kind of in between, but decisions will be made shortly. Jonathan, who's with the office that Toya worked, he has a lot on his plate right now, but there will be another meeting. So what I will do is I will email you, and Precious, maybe you or Emily can attend the meeting via Zoom also, to bring everybody in the loop. And if I may say something quickly too, is that, well, I'll just email that to you, Precious.
Thank you, Gina. Just an example of how we participated last year. There was a celebration in the Ashland Plaza. I gave a little speech and was also on JPR. There's all different types of ways that we could work with media, whether it's JPR or having different types of events or participating, or if there's a organization that you would love for us to connect with for their events, let us know about it. And we always are interested in that. So thank you so much. Just moving on to brainstorming recruitment for Surge, as you can see, based upon different people's lives and work and marriage. We had Tammy, who was on our commission, move away because she and her husband, they moved to Portland for work. Angela, Howdecker, she had work and family, and Julie Gillis has a new position at Brit Festival. So we understand these things happen, and we've been so fortunate to have so many great people on our committee. If there's people that you think would make a great member for our committee, please let us know, reach out to them, or you can have Emily or myself reach out, or Gina's also been so wonderful, and Anne as well. I would love, like, we have so fortunate to have SOU and OSF and different organizations, and I would love like someone from the medical community. I know they're there, and there's people that because I work at SOU, there's a lot of interest in like DEI work and medical and health. So that would be really great. But really, just anyone who is wanting and willing to participate, let us know. And again, I'm so just putting gratefulness out there towards the people who have served during their time. Any additions to recruitment? Okay, you could keep me updated. Okay, final updates from council and liaison that we haven't mentioned, or any updates before we adjourn?
I don't really have, I think I just kind of spoke my piece of what I wanted to contribute. So I really don't have anything to contribute at this point. So yeah, I think I'm done. Thank you.
Just one thing, Gina, what I'll do is, so in the minutes and in that report to council with when the goals were identified, the word reparation appeared in that first goal about the research project that the mayor was interested in. So I will rework that language and remove reparation. It's not in the labor agreement, but I'll take it out of the goal and just work it, because it is something, again, that for an upcoming meeting, Surge has been asked by the mayor to come up with your work plan. What are you planning to work on related to these goals, or of these goals, which ones are you taking on for the 2024? Because she wants to report back to the community. And so that's a task that you've been charged with, is coming up with that work plan based on those goals. And Gina, I will rework that language.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And Precious, if I may, because the small presentation that Hillary presented, working with Ashland together, and some of the things that we have started to move forward with, in Allison with the Remembrance Project, and now having someone who is a member of Ashland Together and the Surge Committee soon, Tara, it kind of locks it all together. So when it comes to that educational component that Surge is tasked with, I believe that collaboratively, you will come up with great forward-moving action thoughts and action plans that can really be put into action to bring people on board that are tangible things, so that we can begin to grow the education and have systemic kindness. So I'm looking forward to the education and moving forward. I think that Surge is moving forward on the right track. 2024 is going to be awesome. And I'm just looking forward to that. I appreciate that, Anne. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any last pieces of information or questions?
I just want to put out one thing Ashland Together is really committed to is amplifying and pulling together networking. So all of these things that are coming up, SOU, Pride Parade, we are developing expanded emails listing in the community that we need to make sure that we have access to all this information so we can help promote. And we have found SOU, sometimes these wonderful things are taking place, but no one really knows about it unless you're SOU related. So we want to help expand any of these vital bits of community activities and culture building. So I am working hard to make sure we're on everyone's mailing list so we can help amplify all of this.
Thank you, Allison. Yeah, I'll try and forward some of the SOU stuff that's coming up. Well, I want to thank you all for your time and all of your efforts. And I'm so excited for this fall 2023 and all that we'll do together. If Emily sees this video, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Hi, Emily.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening.
Thank you all for all you do, all your effort.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.